Hello everyone and welcome back to Carvenus 14. Now today we're going to be doing a build showcase video on Jinshi because I've managed to make Jinshi even stronger and I want to show you guys how I did it. Now this video is definitely not for everyone's Jinshi build. The reason I say that is because my Jinshi specifically is very high investment. In fact, I've made Jinshi as strong as I possibly can at this point, and I'm genuinely struggling to find ways to make her even stronger because I just don't. And number one, I don't have the characters to really do it, and number two, I've basically maxed Jinshi out. My Jinshi is S6R5, for those of you that don't actually know. I have an S6R5 Jinshi with her signature weapon. And I've been playing Jinshi since patch 1.1, since day one of Jinshi's release. So, yeah. I'm actually going to show you guys how I made my Jinshi even stronger, and maybe you guys can learn a tip or two from this video and apply this build archetype to Jinshi as well. Now, what exactly am I talking about? Well, it's literally just an echo setup change. So I go from a 4-3-3-1-1 setup to a 4-4-1-1-1 setup. Now, the reason this is actually better for Jinshi is because of the fact that Jinshi has a load of innate buffs that she can give herself. She's got the inherent 20% Spectra damage buff. She's got her signature weapons resonant skill buff and also attribute damage buff there as well, right? So her signature weapon alone and her inherent passive give her so much resonant skill damage bonus and Spectra damage bonus that at higher levels of investment, especially once you get to S4, and beyond, so S4, S5, S6, going for a 4-4-1-1-1 setup is actually better than 4-3-3-1-1, because at that point, you have a lot of sequences that actually just buff your, your base multipliers and bonus multipliers and bonus attacks as well. Bonus attack percentage, I should say, with her S3. So, yeah, that's why this setup is actually better. Now, how much better? Well, it's actually a decent bit better, right? And I am going to show you guys right now. So right now, we're currently running my 4-3-3-1-1 setup, as you can see here in the Echo page. So we've got Jue, the Cyan Bird, the jumpy thing, the little fly, and the Spectro Prism. Okay? So, this is the 4-3-3-1-1 setup. If you guys want to take a look at the specifics, then here you go. I'm just going to go over them relatively quickly because, well, there's no real need for us to dawdle on this as much as I love looking at my Jinshi stats. So, my split is 73.6% crit rate with 269% crit damage. My attack percentage is 2,372. My resonant skill damage bonus at this point is 54.3, and my spectral damage bonus is 84.0. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to fight against the level 90 Kelpie tactical hologram because I don't want to die at level 100. So we're going to go against the level 90. And we don't have any things in the way, like, you know, a level difference with Jinshi. So it's the true one-to-one raw damage showcase, basically. Yeah. Anyway, let's go. So just a quick showcase of what my Jinshi can do at S6R5. At least with this setup.
Hands up, my friend.
We're gonna double intro.
Joint operation.
Together we fight. Strike that. Take form. Blessed end.
960,000 there.
Heaven ordained. Banish all vice.
And 329,000 there. Okay. So as you all saw, 960,000 on Jue's laser beam, plus 392,000 on Jinshi's burst. Okay, that's what we are looking to beat. So now what we're going to do is we are going to go against the Kelpie again, but this time we're going for a different Echo setup. So I'm going to remove these two, add this on, and add on this. Well, actually, okay. and add this on. Yeah. So this is a little bit unconventional, I know, because a lot of 44111 setups, you'll see that people go not double crit damage. You go 1 crit rate and 1 crit damage, okay? And the truth is, you can definitely do that. But the reason I've gone for double crit damage is because I don't need the extra crit rate. Because my crit rate is actually higher. Well, not much higher. It's literally like a 0.1-0.5% increase. But it's still an increase. But anyway, what I'm trying to say, guys, is with Jinshi, in my own experience, okay, I found that Jinshi actually works best with a minimum of 70% crit damage. Crit rate. If you can achieve 70% crit rate, that is really all the crit rate you need. Of course, you may have some RNG difference because Jinshi is a nuke-based damage dealer, right? So she has all of her damage concentrated onto one specific button, basically, and that being Jue's laser beam, as well as Jue's liberation, or Jinshi's liberation, I should say. Yeah. But if you can get above 70%, honestly, I've been running Jinshi with 73.6% crit rate since, like, the beginning of time, and I really don't have an issue with Jinshi's crits. The only times I actually fail to critically strike is during tactical hologram runs, which have honestly annoyed me to no end. You will not believe how annoying it is sometimes. Yeah. But anyway, that's basically it, right? We're going to run with this setup. So I'm running double crit damage. Now, depending on your own Echo substats and Echo split and your own Jinshi stats, you might want to change this around. So you might want to go something like crit rate, crit rate with crit damage, okay? Now, don't worry, because I do actually want to show off a crit rate run as well with this Echo exactly right here. This one right here, crit rate with attack percent, crit rate, and crit damage as the substats. Now, it doesn't have resonant skill damage bonus, I know, so it's not exactly the ideal set to run, but getting a full 44111 setup that kind of equals stats with 43311 is very difficult. And it's not really what you want to go for anyway, because 44111, you're going all in for crit rate and crit damage, whereas with 43311, you're going for a more even distribution of crit rate, crit damage, damage bonuses, and, you know, attack percent. So, yeah. But anyway, guys, that's for the third and final showcase. So, as you all can see, my split now is 75.4%, right? So, higher than 73.6%, and 317.8% crit damage. This is my main Echo setup that I've actually been using for the last few days now, just testing out, seeing how it works, and I actually do prefer this setup, so this is actually my main setup for Jinshi now. Also, funnily enough, my attack is actually higher, even though we don't have the 3 cost echoes there. Yeah, my attack is higher by exactly 9, because if you remember, my attack was 2,372 with the 43311 setup. Now I'm at 2,381, so exactly 9 attack higher, right? Yeah. Now, if we look at our resonant skill damage bonus, we've gone down from 54.3% to 39.7%, which is like a 14.6% difference, I believe. So I've lost about 14.6% resonant skill damage bonus, right? And as for Spectre damage bonus, I've lost exactly 30%, because I was at 80% before, but now I'm at 54%, right? 84% to 54%, I should say. So that's a 30% drop. So I've gained a load of crit damage, 48% crit damage exactly, 9 attack, but I've lost 14.6% skill damage, resonant skill damage, and 30% Spectre damage bonus. So what we're going to do is we're going to go against the Kelpie again and see how much of a damage difference this is as well now. Okay?
Hands off my friend. Together we fight.
Joint operation. There's nothing to worry about.
Strike as one. Take form. Sacred light.
993,000.
Thunder guide us.
And fortunately I didn't crit right there, so I'm going to need to restart and do that again. So yeah, 993,000 1,000, as you guys can see. Okay?
I shall lead the way. The spirit of evolution. Together we fight.
Joint operation.
Strike as one. The skies that take form. So be evil be cleansed. Heaven ordained. Banish all vice.
Alright, so as you guys can see there, we went from 329,000 to 329,000. Yeah. Now, albeit, the 329,000 for the 43311 setup was actually higher by 500 damage. Exactly, 500 damage. So, worth? I would say worth. I mean, we went from 960,000 to 993,000 damage. That's a 33,000 damage increase. I'm scraping on the edge of 1 million.
It would be my
and my Jinshi is, well, apart from the fact that she's S6R5, she's got a free-to-play friendly team. Verena and Yuan Wu. Yuan Wu doesn't even buff Jinshi outside of Impertinence Harem, right? And Verena doesn't actually buff Jinshi outside of the 15% damage amplification she gives and the Fallacy of No Return buff, right? Other than that, yeah. And my Verena isn't actually S4, just to let you know, so I don't have the 15% extra Spectra damage buff there. Otherwise, that would probably make me hit 1 million. But this is as free-to-play friendly as my Jinshi could possibly get. Of course, without the S6R5 in there, that's what I mean, right? So yeah, this setup is actually pretty damn strong. But I do want to go. I want to do this again, but with another setup. So a crit rate and a crit damage setup. And the reason I want to do that is because some of you might not actually go with a double crit rate or double crit damage setup. Some of you might be going with 1 crit rate and 1 crit damage. So that's what we're gonna do.
May I pray?
We're gonna go crit rate here. Okay. So now I've got crit rate Due instead of crit damage Due. So now my split is looking like this. 96.8% crit rate with 277.4% crit damage. Now, this is actually still higher than the 269% crit damage that my old build had. But remember, the 43311 setup. But remember, I still lack the Resonance Skill damage bonus and the Spectra damage bonus. Of course, with this build, I don't have a Resonance Skill damage as much because I didn't roll it on that Due Echo, which is a bit unfortunate. And as for my attack, it's the lowest here with 2,303. So yeah, realistically, these stats are pretty damn similar, but obviously this I think will do less damage. Okay, this, in my opinion, will do less damage. So we're looking to see how much lower it's going to be compared to 960,000. Okay. So let's try this again.
Hands up, my friend. Strike as one.
Joint operation.
Together we fight. Onward, take form. Evil be cleansed.
846,000.
Heaven ordained. Banish all vice.
And 277,000. There we go. Yeah, so, as you guys saw, we didn't hit nearly as hard. I mean, we went from, what was it? 960,000 to 880,000. Was it 860,000? I actually can't remember. How did I forget already? Yeah, but it was one of the two. So, yeah, as you all can see, the 1 crit rate with 1 crit damage clearly is not enough. Alright? Yes, you have all the crit rate in the world, but you hardly have any extra damage because you do have more crit damage, but the bonuses that you're missing out on is honestly that high, right? Which is why I think it's only really worth doing this build if you have a double crit damage roll, right? And I know what I said at the beginning, this 44111 setup is definitely better than 43311. Do I redact that point? No, I don't, because if you have double crit damage, honestly, you are winning, like, ridiculously hard, right? But this only really works if you have double crit damage rolls on both your 4 costs. If you have double crit damage as your main stat, this is a lot better, because the damage bonuses that you're losing, right, from your Spectra damage bonus and your Resonant Skill damage bonus from your substats or whatever, right? The substats that you're losing, or, you know, the damage bonus stats that you're losing from your main stats for the 3 costs and stuff, they definitely do hurt losing them, okay? So in order to make up for them, going double crit damage is definitely much better for Jinshi, right? It's much better. I mean, as you guys can see, we went from 960,000 with the 43311 setup to 993,000, basically touching very close to 1 million, all right? So it's definitely a much better upgrade than a 43311. But like I said, this only really works for 2 things. Number 1, you need double crit damage bonus. Double crit damage on your 4 costs. Okay, number 1. And number 2, substats. Your substats are also a very important part of it. So, yeah, would I recommend doing this build for Jinshi? I would. However, you need to have a high investment Jinshi. This build doesn't work at lower investment. So you need to have at least an S4 Jinshi, in my opinion, for this to really work. Because that's when you start, from S4 onwards, that's when you really start to get a lot of base multipliers and bonus multipliers and things like that. So that's when you can really kind of compensate for so much additional base and bonus multipliers with just more crit damage and crit rate to make up for the fact that Jinshi just doesn't have any of those in her sequences. Yeah. And also, if you do have a really good 4-3-3-1-1 setup, right? Then honestly just stick with that, because at the end of the day, it really does come down to substats. The main stats are there, but the substats will honestly be the thing that makes or breaks your build sometimes. So, yeah. But this is just a short video, guys, by my standards anyway. This is just a short video showcasing how you know, how goated of a character Jinshi is, with different levels of investment, different types of echo setups with 4-3-3-1-1 and 4-4-1-1-1. And hopefully this has shed some light on how you guys can build Jinshi, and what you might do to make your Jinshi even stronger. So, yeah. But anyway, guys, I have been Carvenus14 and still am. And I hope you will enjoy the rest of your day. I will see you all very soon. Goodbye.